Good evening and welcome to another episode of the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. We've got a special guest with us here this evening. We were just talking about soccer balls and UPSL logos. So we'll be getting into some UPSL news, obviously, and exciting announcement here from Coach Rexroat. And I've got an exciting announcement as well, so we'll see who's got the bigger news this evening. So y'all will want to stay tuned. But Todd, Harry, Gordino, good having you guys back, man. How's everybody doing this evening? Starting with you, Harry.
I'm here.
Did you lock your phone last night? I saw some comments, and then it was like crickets for about a good 7 or 8 hours. Was that?
It was. I said what I had to say.
And then the wife took the phone away.
Was, if SAFC doesn't make the playoffs, still come out and support the team because the players deserve, regardless of the results, they deserve a full stadium. And I think that was a pretty good closing shot for the night. And, not much, there's really not a lot to say about the game. I know we're going to discuss it and rehash, something that we've talked about all year. And, it is what it is, right?
It is what it is. That's one way to put it. What about you, Jose? How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. A lot of soccer action in San Antonio been happening in around the area, so don't be bummed out too much. There's other stuff to watch, so more options.
That's very true. Finally, the rain let up a little bit. We got some soccer in here in San Antonio. But Todd, how are you doing this evening?
Sacramento locked up the fifth playoff spot in the West, so only three more open. 5 teams trying to get to it. Gotta love end of the season drama.
Yeah, and we're going to get into what exactly the chances are. We've got our statistician here, Gordino85, who's got all the numbers. He's been crunching them all day in front of a big white chalkboard. A beautiful mind style, just writing everything down. But let's get into some UPSL news. Coach Rexroat, you're off to a hot start this season, and I know we've kind of been trying to at least mention how you guys are doing. Y'all have had a couple matches and 6 points so far. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Hey, thank you for having me on. Good evening, guys. And it's nice to be here. And I didn't know Gordino 85 had a beautiful mind. He's doing all those numbers.
He's not all beauty. He's brains, too. That's why we keep him around.
So, yeah, as you were saying, we're off to a good start. It's something new for us, knowing what happened last season. Had a great home game, picked up the 3 points, head over to Houston and played a very, very, as you know, Atletico Katy is a tremendous talented team, defending champions from spring, and we had a very good game against them. Our boys clicked nicely that game. A lot of stuff that we've been working on in practice. It just started to click and flow, and it was just beautiful to watch. So, it's great to have the 6 points. Fortunately, we couldn't play last night. Got canceled due to the weather, but who knows? We probably could have picked up another 3 or maybe, come home with losing. So who knows?
Well, you did get a chance to go out and see some soccer last night, though. You were telling us that you went out and saw Bernie Thunder versus Mac there at Bernie ISD, correct?
Yes. Coach Augie Mendez and I decided to ditch the family for a little bit, and head on out to Bernie and watch their first game of the season. The Heart division is taking a big hit. Yeah, these poor guys. I know they're itching to play, so we wanted to go out there and get a chance to see Bernie and see Mac and get a chance to see some soccer. And it was an entertaining match. Little nerves from both teams, from their first season. So we didn't do any scouting because we don't play in their division. But,
sure.
It was nice to go out there and get a chance to sit in the stands instead of sitting on the bench giving directions. So
get to enjoy some soccer for once, right?
Yeah.
Now, what was the final result? Was 2-0 in that game?
Yes.
Bernie Thunder?
Yes.
Bernie Thunder victory.
Grab the 3 points, 2-0.
So that was their first match of the season, obviously getting those 3 points. But as you mentioned, you guys are playing in a different conference. Y'all are playing down there with the Houston teams, who last year, would you say it's fair to say, were really the more competitive teams in y'all's division when it was all combined?
never going to make a liar, Scott. I'd say it's fair to say that. Like I stated in previous shows, that one of the reasons why we did it, and we just wanted to keep our boys on their toes and get them out of their comfort zone, and it's working, man. It's working. So there's a lot of season left. So
Sure.
But right now we're happy to be in the position that we're in right now.
Very true. Yeah, it is very early still in the season. Last night you guys had some better weather, I think, than I did on a Friday evening. It was still humid and hot. Last night it was a little bit cool, kind of perfect weather for a soccer match. Today we also had Trinity University. Todd, were you able to find the result of that game?
Trinity cruised to an easy 7-0 victory over Johnson and Wales. Lopsided as crazy. Trinity had 50 shots on goal to Johnson and Wales 5, 22 of those on target to only 2, 16 corners to 0, 6 different goal scorers. They started the season 4-0 in the conference, 6-0 0-1 overall. New rankings haven't been out, but they're currently number 9. But this has got to definitely help them move up, probably. We've talked about them a couple times in the last couple of weeks, but we haven't mentioned the name Andrea Katspati. He got his 4th goal of the season so far, and he added his 3rd assist to the season, leading Trinity in both categories. They just crushed Johnson and Wales, who's new to the conference. They play again on Tuesday away at Shriner. And they got 3 matches this week: Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday, all away games.
Yeah, well, and I know I heard from Phil Winez Jr.'s dad. He's dealing with a quad injury, so we've had him on the show before, interviewing him and talking to him about Trinity. Graduated from Stevens High School, so obviously wishing him a speedy recovery as well. But Coach Rexroat, let's give you the floor. I know you said that you had some exciting news that you wanted to announce. What's going on in the world of Samba?
Well, I appreciate that. Yes, we, as you know, we've been around for going into our 2nd year now. And when I put this nice little baby product together, it's always been about promoting soccer in San Antonio, helping soccer as much as possible in San Antonio, and providing an outlet for the male players to be seen. With that in mind, and keeping with the same formula and the same goal, same philosophy, Samba F.C. San Antonio has decided to throw their hat into another ring, and we will have a WPSL team.
Wow. That is awesome news.
Yes, we will start 2019. So it's something that we've been thinking about for a couple of months now, and we're excited about it. It's soccer here for women's soccer here in San Antonio is huge, and we want to be part of it. That's another reason, another outlet to give the female players a chance to be seen. And with the development and the type of formula that we provide to the men's, why not? That we decided to go with the women's.
Now, I was just going to say, one thing I'm kind of curious about, will they keep the same nomenclature, kind of like Liga Feminel, where it's just kind of like the female version of Samba, or have you given any thought to that yet?
Not much thought about that yet, but we decided that the name, the Samba FC San Antonio, will stay the same for the men's and for the women's.
Okay.
The colors will remain the same. So the only difference is that one will be a men's team and one will be a women's team.
Awesome.
Sticking to the branding, I think that's been a huge step if we look down south of the border with Liga MX Femenil, and also with in Europe. That's basically what most of the Europe teams do. It's they have an arsenal and they have a women's arsenal, and that's keeping the fan base. It's a good marketing, and it's a good people are already familiar with Samba, and they're gonna attract more fans like that. That's smart.
I hope so. What would be really great is it's unfortunate WPSL doesn't play year round. I mean, think about it. It'd be nice to have a double header of the women's playing first, and then you got the men's following right after that. So,
Yeah.
but WPSL is a summer league. It's 3 months, perfectly, because the boys, the men's are resting around that time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be year-round soccer for Samba FC San Antonio, and bringing it here to the Alamo City.
Nice.
Will you be at Wheatley for the women as well, or?
You asked that. I was about to say yes. The women's team, WPSL Samba FC San Antonio team, will practice and will play their home games at Whitley Heights Sports Complex.
That's awesome. That's really exciting
Big
news.
year for women's soccer with the possibility of 4 clubs.
Yeah, well, I contacted WPSL, and I got a phone call back 48 hours from them, and they said that knowing that you have Alamo playing next year, and then you had obviously Blossoms playing this year and possibly coming back next year. They said that they said no problem. We'd love to have Samba FC in the WPSL. So we got the okay from them. And that being said, we're moving forward. We're going to be holding our first tryouts. We're shooting for the first weekend in November, which is November 3rd or 4th, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Saturday and Sunday. We plan to hold one tryout then. We're going to hold another tryout during the holidays in December, during the Christmas holidays. And then possibly, if needed, a last-minute tryout in around, I would say, probably around February.
So do you have a group of girls kind of that have come to you and like you've seen some interest in this where you saw a need that you could address, or where do you think that the majority of your players are going to come from? Just like all over?
I'm hoping they come from all over. I mean, with the emphasis that the reason why we're doing this is to develop local talent.
Sure.
Like we're doing it, developing local talent here for on the girls' side. We're gonna be looking for obviously college players, and then also talented high school players, senior players. We have had some interest already given to us by quite a few players.
Sure.
Are interested in coming aboard and being part of Samba. So we kind of put the hook out there, and try to see how things were going to bite, and it was, if it was positive or negative, and so far it's been very positive. And I think what definitely helped us to reach that goal of being positive is how well the men's team has been around and doing things, and we've been around for a couple of years. Growing and things. So that's basically what most of the players, the female players, told us. That we've heard of Samba, we've heard of the men's, and if you're planning to develop and have that same structure, we would definitely be interested in playing for the WPSL team that we're going to have.
So for those of you just tuning in, Coach Rexroat just announced that Samba FC will have a women's team in the WPSL in 2019. Obviously, as you mentioned, the reputation with the men's program doing well. I'm sure there's relationships there and things like that, with the players, and so they will come. But that's very exciting, and congratulations on that. I know that's something that probably wasn't easy to throw on top of an already crowded dinner plate. So,
yeah,
congratulations.
Well, what I want to know, though, Scott, is my announcement bigger than yours?
Let's see here. So, Senior Frogs in the Sunday Co-ed League took home the second place medal. There was a little trophy, about yay high. But yeah, no. If we would have won, I think I had you, Coach Rexroat. So we're gonna have to shoot for first place.
That's a great accomplishment. It doesn't matter, the level what we're doing here. It's always been the emphasis, the goal is to promote and help San Antonio soccer. And,
yeah.
It's I know we see our senior team, SAFC, struggling, doing things and stuff like that. But you know what? I mean, it's just as long as we keep the sport going here in San Antonio and helping it grow and taking our local talented kids, and give them that opportunity. It's, to me, that's a big plus. So, it's nice to to be part of that growing soccer development and sport here for San Antonio. I mean, if you go back a couple years, when we were not around, it was just strictly SAFC. Mm-hmm. And then a couple years, things just started growing. We came aboard, and then you had the women's team coming aboard with Athenians was the first women's professional team, semi-pro team here in San Antonio. And it just starts snowballing that everybody's realizing that, hey, you know what? Let's do something about this. So we're happy to be part of this and give an opportunity to the women. So.
Well, let's do a final round here with Coach Rexroat. Any other questions or anything like that we have before we let you go? But thank you so much for coming on and sharing that with us and letting us be the platform for that announcement. That's really cool news. So again, congratulations. But Jose, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask or any other final questions?
No, just basically, I probably share the same views as the other guys over here. And it's great, like we've said, these new teams that have been added to the UPSL this season. It's more soccer, more opportunities for players to be seen. And now on the women's side, Samba bringing in this team is more opportunities for the women's side. I know we had I forgot his name, the runners coach,
Mason Rankin.
And he talked about there's talent out there. They're just sometimes you just don't have the connection to be seen, and you need an outlet. And this is a great outlet. This is a great outlet.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And I know for me, like I said here, I think, and this is something that Todd's mentioned, that, the South and the East side is kind of underserved, but, by the community here. And I think with Samba, stepping in, I think it kind of helps fills that gap. So that way, no matter where you're at in the city, you're going to be able to have eyes, you're going to be able to have options, when it comes to the semi-pro team. So I'm super excited about that. And
good.
For the city, for men's and women's, it just shows that, how San Antonio is really a soccer city. And to me, that's a great thing for us.
Yeah, no complaints here, that's for sure. Looks like we just lost Gordino. I'm sure he'll be jumping back on here in a second. But again, Coach Rexroat, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on with us. And we look forward to seeing what you've got going here in the UPSL and following you guys throughout the remainder of the season.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys having me on again and you allow me to use your platform to make an announcement about this. You guys been, I'll go on record. You guys been really good to us. And when I said, hey, you know what, press release after talking about this will come out tomorrow, but everything has been announced today on your platform. And I've always wanted to do that. Say, hey, why not? Let's just do it, your platform and get it out there and get your viewers out there to listen. So we're happy. In the next couple of days, we will make an announcement. We'll have a press release out on the coach for our WPSL team.
Awesome.
And we're very, very happy that, he will be part of this. He's very well known in the soccer community. Also very well known in the women's game as well. So there was no brainers of not having this gentleman, this coach, be part of it. Love to tell you the name right now, but
gotta say something.
One thing at a time. We'll keep an eye out for that news. Definitely excited to hear that announcement. We'll be sure to share that, obviously, whenever that's announced. But again, thank you so much. Congratulations, and we look forward to continuing to watch you guys in the UPSL.
Hey, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Keep doing what you do. It's beautiful, man, and I love it. So. I just want to. We have another away game. We're heading out again to Houston to play against Imperial FC. That game is on a Sunday, by the way. We're heading out there Sunday for a 3:00 game. So we've been having some people, some of our fans join us, and not a lot, but they're faithful, and so I'm looking forward to seeing our fans out there. And we'll be back at Whitley Heights on October 27th after all these road trips.
It's about time.
October 27th. Circle it on the calendar.
7th. So we will be back at home, see our fans at home, and let me tell you, we're getting a little homesick. But if this rain continues, we're going to be a lot more homesick because it's going to take even longer to get back home and play. So.
Definitely.
I think if you get a couple more points, I think if at the start of the season, if you said, hey, on this 5-game road streak, you would have 8-9 points, actually, you got 3 at home first, but if you pick up another 6 points or so on the road out of these 6 to 9 points, I think you'd take that, because especially after last year where, there were some struggles on the road. Like I said here.
Just to bring that up, didn't you?
We're talking about 2018.
Hey, I'm just going by what he said on the preview of the season here. When he come home with some points, and he's already coming home with points. So
that was the goal. The goal is we got 1 or 3. We'll take the 3. So that's the goal. But then again, you know what? It doesn't stop there.
Right. We keep raising the bar.
All the points away, but we could come home and choke, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We want to keep rolling. So.
Well, there you have it. Samba FC with some success on the road. We're going to get into some San Antonio FC news and their lack of success, I guess you could say, on the road. But again, Coach Rexroat, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much to your listeners, and have a good night. And, let's root for SFC. We want them in the playoffs. So I appreciate it. And Samba FC San Antonio, 2019 WPSL, man.
That's it.
Yep,
Thank you.
To it.
Thank you, guys.
Adios, Coach.
Bye-bye.
So that was Coach Rexroat with some Samba news and some WPSL news. Wasn't expecting that to take place.
Yeah,
crazy.
That was not what I was expecting to hear.
We thought we were going to have a new head coach for San Antonio FC, but I guess that's not the case.
Didn't seem like he was very interested in it either.
Cordino throwing me off here, leaving, coming back, having to move names around, but we're back. No, you're good, man. I'm glad you're here. We're back, though, and some San Antonio FC news, obviously. Didn't get the result that we wanted on the road. Todd, why don't you take us into it a little bit?
What's there really to take into? Let's see. Before the match even
started with the lineup.
Yeah, they posted that lineup, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that was completely puzzled by the 5 changes.
Well, we had talked about a little bit about Bryant possibly, traveling up there. Obviously, a couple people traveled up there for the game. And so I was kind of excited to see him get the start, Gordon on the bench, but then, you had Escalante on the bench. You had, Murphy and Seth in the starting 11.
Not Seth.
Not Seth.
Murphy.
Okay, just Murphy. So, I mean, it was kind of a...
We had Maxey, the guy that, we love, that we were complaining that he was coming on for 30 minutes. He played all 90. Go figure.
I love Maxey. I just don't like Maxey as the 65th minute sub, so...
I don't like it. Well... It's the biggest game of the year. He's not. You can't tell me Pekka. He's better than Pekka. If you have Pekka and Ward back there, I don't think you miss a big step compared to Lopez and Pekka.
What did you think when you first saw the starting 11, Jose? I mean, kind of.
It's the biggest game of the season so far. Everything's on the table. Playoff implications. And you're setting up another lineup change. I mean, and we saw it in the game. There's no team play.
Yeah.
You can't get team play if you keep switching players game in and game out. So, once that line out, like you said, we were a little bit hopeful early in the morning when you guys did the podcast, and I was too. But after that lineup came out, man, I'm like, what's going on? Are we not trying to win this game?
That was my feeling.
Yeah, and it was basically everybody's feeling with that lineup coming out.
And it's not that. To me, it's the end of the season. Yeah, I know they played on Wednesday. It was 80 degrees, so it's not like it was 110, 90, super muggy in St. Louis. Further, it was a beautiful night for soccer. How you don't put your best team out on a must-win game? I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, it was. I agree with you.
Yeah. I thought St. Louis dominated it, but when I actually went back and looked at the statistics for the match, it was fairly even.
No, it wasn't. I know the statistics were, but...
Statistics, 51% possession to 49. Total shots, 9 for San Antonio, 10 for St. Louis.
But did you see where the shots were, though? The shots were from outside the box.
Shots on target for San Antonio were 5 to only 4 for St. Louis.
Well, it's not hard when you're shooting it right in the middle of the goaltender's belly.
You know, passing efficiency, 79%, 79%. Statistically, we were right there. Unfortunately, that 51% possession, 100% of that possession almost was freaking in our half of the field. So it was
what's been Scott's main thing? Possession with a purpose.
Possession with a purpose.
And there was none, man. I did not see no creative. You know, if we run down player by player, Murphy, I forgot he was playing.
Yeah,
I forgot he was playing. Lance Lang, you know, he had one shot and one good free kick. Bryant, I mean, he's young. You know, can't put much on him, but his role behind the striker in the attacking midfielder position is to create chances. It's a number 10. He did not create chances. But again, he's young, so I don't want to put too much blame on him. Elizondo, he's not in form, man. He's been out most of the season. Ward, I forgot he was on the field as well. Maxi, you know, I mean, he hustles a lot. I'm not gonna put that he doesn't hustle. He hustles, but he keeps losing balls. His passes were inaccurate. You know, that's why he's a sub and he's not a starter. He has to work on that. Cochran, I mean, he did his job. You know,
yeah.
Hernandez, what the fuck? Hernandez, Sip. You know.
See, I thought Sip played well.
Well, he plays well, but when around you have a supporting cast that's not supporting, it can happen. King, you know, it wasn't his best game, it wasn't his worst, but you know, it's an average performance. Cardoni. So I mean, you know, if you go down the line, like everybody said, this lineup was not set up to win this must-win match.
I was going to ask you about Elizondo, actually, because I thought he looked just a little timid. He doesn't really look like the Elizondo that we saw last season. Like you say, obviously, he's been out a lot, and he's always kind of back and forth with injuries, and that'll make you a little bit nervous. But even last game, I thought he played a lot better than what we saw last night. But what about you, Todd?
He gets hurt every time he gets bumped. Of course he's going to play a little timid. You know, you're missing most... It was this year and last year. When you're out more than you're playing because of injury, you know, you hold up, and it shows. It was disappointing.
Will made a comment about the broadcast, and I have to agree. That thing almost put me to sleep. I don't know why there was no field noise or anything like that. It was like just quiet in the box for the whole 90. And that
because it was somebody from Tampa announcing.
Broadcast.
It was proxy. Gotcha. Okay.
But then again, so was the RGV Seattle match last night. Because I watched it today. That was remotely broadcast. One of the broadcasters was broadcasting from Detroit because he's the one that does Detroit City FC's matches, and they still piped in they still had the crowd noise mics.
And I know the Luligans. I know the Luligans make noise. So the atmosphere there, I have a feeling was. You know, maybe not be Toyota Field, but it's a whole lot better than what's in RGV.
And they make cool scarves. So if any Luligan has one of those Mad Hatter scarves, send it my way.
This guy's always looking for merch.
Free stuff. Hey,
badass.
Now that you guys mentioned that it was being called from Tampa, it was kind of weird that they made a comment that they were like, yeah, the St. Hooligans or I don't know what they're called.
St. Hooligans.
Yeah, they're kind of quiet tonight. Well, yeah, because you don't have the audio of the game, guy. Come on.
We can't hear them. Yeah, because you're sitting in an office, buddy.
Yeah. Dang.
Okay, but what about we talked about the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
We lost 2-0. What about those substitutions?
You're the expert on substitutions, man. You let us know. So,
who the fuck makes a sub in the 94th minute when you're down by 2?
Yeah, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And, you know, I think there was a lot of concern. And I think that's where sometimes the concern over Coach Powell comes in, is it's not necessarily what they're doing, the decisions that he's making off the field. It's more things like that, like subbing in the 94th minute when you're down by 2. You know, unless somebody's injured or something like that, why are you taking them off? It makes no sense.
Especially when you're down a man. It didn't make any sense. To me, my whole issue, so he waited till the 69th minute,
mm-hmm.
made it a like for like with Gordon coming on for Elizondo, which I didn't have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
77th, he did Guzman for Murphy.
Mm-hmm.
No problem, like for like.
Mm-hmm.
We're down a goal. Why aren't we bringing somebody up from, another attacking person? And I know we keep harping on this. Your best attacking person, is on a freaking milk carton, Bruce, that can come in, create some excitement, in the middle. Presley, where was he? He didn't play the full 90 against, Sporting Swope.
And he played 30 seconds against St. Louis. That was the point.
He didn't play. Well, did he play? Oh, yeah, he came in. Yeah, he's the fourth sub. But to me, why didn't you go more attacking, especially when you got down? Because as that game went on, I think if you had had a first goal early, it would have opened up the game a whole lot more. When it became late in the second half, whoever scored first was going to win. And you saw with St. Louis, who actually has a coach that can do substitutions, because he started parking the bus, and they kept their 11th clean sheet, I think, on the year for St. Louis. So
at this point in the season,
it is what it is.
At this point in the season, when you're pushing for the 8th and final playoff, and you're down by 1, does it matter if you put everything going forward,
right,
and win to win? But if you lose, is there a difference between losing and ending up in 9th place at the end of the season or 11th place? Because to me, you're out of the playoffs either way, so it doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm. And you can't say he was. Oh well, if we get blown out, our score differential is going to come to.
No, it wouldn't matter.
If you're not in the playoffs, goal differential doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, we're -7. Everybody else is a positive, so it still wouldn't matter. He's not going to make
needed to win that game.
Yeah,
it was plain and simple. You needed to win that game, and to me, it was the same old Coach Powell. Hey, let's play for the tie, and I know that drives Todd crazy because no coach is supposed to do that. This is a perfect example of playing for the tie and getting burned by it, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and I mean, like I said, it all started with the starting 11. I think people started scratching their heads with that. And, I mean, the substitutions didn't make much more sense moving forward. But
any good from the match last night? Anything? One positive? Can anyone give one?
I don't got nothing. I don't know if anybody else has.
It was 94 and a half minutes. One positive. Anybody? Audience?
Yeah, about to say we'll send that out there to our listeners on Twitter. What positives did you take away from that? Because
there is none.
I mean, I can't think of any. So I think the big question after that match, and I don't want to get into it too much because there's still 3 games left, but Coach Powell, and let's phrase it this way: do you think Coach Powell still has an approval rating, I guess, so to speak, with the fans here in San Antonio?
His approval rating may be lower than Donald Trump's.
No, not that low. Come on.
No, I don't think so. But, I mean, with the fans that are engaged with the team, I think it has dropped a lot, especially from last season. It's a whole different team. It's a whole different gameplay. I mean, it's like, it's like he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. I mean, he knows what he's doing. It's just I don't know. I have no words for it. I don't know.
Yeah, and Christopher Drew on Twitter was saying Maxey got a red. That was Mo Hernandez that got the red there.
Mo Hernandez got a red.
Yeah. So, so who's out? We were talking about that a little bit before the show.
For the match against Seattle, Hernandez is out from the red card.
Mm-hmm.
King
Elizondo is out with yellow card accumulation, and so is King.
So you got those 3 obviously going to mix the next. But before we get into that match, Jose, as I mentioned earlier in the show, I know you've been crunching numbers all day. What do you have for us? Give us that bit of hope. You're telling me there's a chance, Gordinho.
But there's a chance. There is a chance, a slim chance, but there is a chance. So right now we're sitting at 43 points. We're coming on 3 games coming up. If we max out, if we win this next 3 games, our max is 52 points. What do we? Our destiny is not in our hands anymore. We can do everything we can, and then we have to get help from other teams. So what do we need? If we get 3 wins, we're at 52 points, and if we end up at 52 points, we need 3. One of these next following things needs to happen. Swope Park, they have 2 games left. They can only get 1 point because they're sitting at 51. right? So if they get, no, they're sitting at 50. I'm sorry. So if they get 2 points,
2 ties.
yeah, if they get 2 ties, we're out because our goal
Yep.
differential is horrible.
Yep.
St. Louis, number 7, St. Louis, they got 3 games. Out of those next 3 games, the next possible 9 points, they can only get a max of 2 points. They can only get 2 ties. If they win one, that doesn't help us. Yeah. Reno, they got 5 games left.
Damn.
That's 15 points, man. Out of those 15 points, for us to qualify, they can only get 5 points max. And we need one of those 3 things to happen, either Swope Park, St. Louis, or Reno. But that's, again, if we win these next
All
3
3
games, if we max out. Like I said, our fate is not in our hands. If we drop any point, if we tie a game, if we lose this next game, it's different. It's practically, it's almost a done deal. Like you put in the opening video, we're on the Titanic. The iceberg has hit the Titanic. It is sinking. We are Jack. We need to push Rose off that fucking door.
We're on the lifeboat. We're on the lifeboat, man. We're on the lifeboat.
We're holding on like Jack, man. We're barely holding on. We need to get Rose off the fucking door and get on that door. But we need to win out. That needs to happen. We need to win out.
That's obviously going to be the first challenge. I'm pulling up the last few matches here for those other teams you mentioned. Todd, what do you think the likelihood is of that occurring?
We have the easiest final 3 to go. Seattle, Las Vegas, and the Toros. Shouldn't have a problem winning all 3. But it's San Antonio F.C. we're talking about in 2018.
It's 2018.
So,
SAFC.
Yeah.
So Swope has Sacramento and LA Galaxy too. Obviously, Sac, a little bit better opponent than LA Galaxy is in their final 2 matches.
Galaxy just cleaned the house yesterday against
Salt Lake.
No, Monarchs, wasn't it?
Yeah, Salt Lake.
Yeah, Monarchs. Yeah, 6-1.
So the Galaxy by no means is a pushover.
Right. But are they, like I said, Swope needs only
1 point.
They
2
need
points.
2 ties. They need 2 ties.
To win, yeah. So 2 ties. Or a win against LA.
But they don't have the easiest schedule.
They don't. No, those are 2 ties. I mean, that's a possibility. St. Louis has Phoenix.
At home or on the road. And the only reason why I asked that, and I'll give credit to Texas Soccer Radio on this, when we faced Swope, they had 7 Sporting Kansas City signed players. Now, to be fair, they've probably all done minutes at Swope Park, but 7 signed MLS.
That means nothing though, because
it does mean something.
It doesn't, because I know a guy that signed with the New York Red Bulls in his second season, hasn't seen the pitch for the New York Red Bulls yet because he's been down with Red Bulls too. You're signed to a contract, which means nothing, and then you're sent to your lower team. I know you're big on this conspiracy theory that
it's the talent.
Their talent is they're still sitting at the USL level and not the MLS level.
They're bouncing back and forth. If
they're not.
Back and forth.
They're practicing with, man, they may be practicing.
They're practicing with the first team.
But it's not playing.
To answer your...
Belmar's got 64 minutes at MLS. Big fucking deal.
To answer your question, though, Harry, the Sacramento game is on the road. LA Galaxy 2 is at home.
So that's the problem. If it was back in LA, I think it would
be
a lot tougher.
They can get 1 draw. So, I mean, if they lose to Sacramento and tie LA and we win out, there you have it. There's one scenario. So let's take a look at St. Louis. Give me the rundown on St. Louis again, Jose.
St. Louis has Phoenix away and then home against Tulsa, and then they finish home against Oklahoma City.
But 2 points. 2 points is all they can get, right?
They need 4 points to get to the playoffs. However, in their last 13 games, they've only got 2 losses. And I guarantee out of the 3 teams,
will they get more than 2 points?
Gonna make it is gonna be St. Louis.
Will they get more than 2 points in these next games?
I can see them getting 2 points. I mean, if they beat Tulsa or if they beat OKC, they get the 3 though, and that's all they need is 1 win in 3 games. So that one's a little bit trickier.
Tulsa beat us, they beat us, so it should be a good match. Hey,
that one's a little bit
Tulsa
trickier.
And Oklahoma City's in St. Louis.
Yes.
And I follow quite a bit from St. Louis because they're kind of my Eastern team on the side.
Hey.
It's just they're not gonna fail. They've never been in the playoffs. They've never been this close. Now it is St. Louis, and it would be St. Louis to fail this close, but I don't see it right now, at least in the current form.
Send them back to the East. That's what I say. So we got Reno. Situation with Reno was 5 points in the last 5 games, if I remember. Yeah?
Can they get 5 points? More than 5 points.
More than 5. So they've got RGV at home, Tulsa at home, Timbers 2 on the road, Phoenix on the road, and OCSC at home.
That's tough. It's doable.
I mean, yeah. I
don't see them having a problem getting 8 points.
No, I don't either. So honestly, I think
how many points?
5.
If they get 6, we're done. If they get 6, we're done.
And they're not winning the last 3.
You don't think Timbers 2?
They're not beating Phoenix.
OCSC.
They're not beating Orange County.
So they need 2 wins.
You're talking about RGV and who was the other?
RGV and Tulsa Roughnecks, both at home.
So they win Tulsa. They talk RGV. I know we like to shit on RGV,
True.
but they're playing better ball than we are right now.
True.
I said it back, but when we played them before, RGV is a lot better than their record indicates.
So
that's our best chance. St.
Reno
Louis,
and Swope, best chance.
See, I'm thinking Swope's our best chance.
I think Swope's our best chance. Reno's a good. I'll go Swope, Reno, St. Louis in that order. Lock them in.
Hey, bringing up a good point from the chat. Chris Drew says Tulsa should have been easy for us. Those Tulsa games are now kicking us in the ass.
Let me go look at all the games that are kicking us in the ass right now. Yeah, we talked about Tulsa.
Hey, we lost to S2. We lost to Seattle 2. I'm just saying.
But Tulsa, man, we should have.
And we should have beat RGV the first match. We should have beat LA earlier in the season.
But we weren't panicking back then, bro. We weren't panicking.
But any of those games, I mean, you could pin it on any one of those.
Hey, results in May don't matter. It's only results in September. You know that.
Yeah, whoever.
What have you done for me lately?
Whoever podcast said that is fucking crazy because.
Let's not go there.
The panic button was hit after week fucking 4 or 5. Sorry. And we proved to be pretty much right. Last year at this time, we were fighting for the number 1 seed. This year, we're fighting for a playoff spot.
Well, we're not fighting. We're not.
We're pretty much giving it up.
So these next 3 games for us, do we win out?
No.
Do you guys see us winning out?
Win out? Yes, we should win out. Will we win out? No.
With the current form, being hopeful is all fine and dandy. But with the current form, the current system, the current lineups that are being brought out, do we win out? Honestly.
No. I don't think we went out, but let's take it one game at a time. Let's dive into our match this weekend against the Seattle Sounders 2. We've got Todd's 3 keys to victory. Todd, start us off with numero uno.
Number 1, it's now or never. It's all about S2 this week. You don't get a result today on Saturday, then Vegas and the Toros mean nothing. So I don't care what you got to do. I don't care what your normal defensive scheme is. Fucking 3 in the back line, fucking 8 fucking forwards. You know, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter if you finish 9th or 11th.
15th.
You're not in the playoffs. So you have to put everything do or die. You know, it's that simple. You want to play another week? Well, you want another week to actually mean something? You have to take the match against Seattle.
Will's wanting us to tank for a higher draft pick, I think he said. Is that how that works?
It is the Spurs and sports entertainment, so perhaps, they're a little confused. That's in this sport.
Numero dos?
Sure? I think it works in MLS, right?
It does work in MLS. So,
Jesus
American
Christ.
soccer. But yeah, key number 1, you have 1 match. You have to win. I know some of the players tweeted it's not over. And truthfully, it's not over. But guess what? You don't beat Seattle, the last 2 matches, nothing.
So get into number 2, how they're going to beat Seattle.
Number 2, San Antonio needs to take advantage of every free opportunity they get. Corners and free kicks are going to be key in this match. We have some video that we can roll right now. They don't all end up in goals, but you can see that they leave players open on the post. They leave players open in the middle. They allow the second chances on those free kicks and corners. We need to take advantage of that, and that's something we haven't done all season when we've been given the opportunity.
Taking advantage of the free kicks and corners, number 2. Now let's roll it right on into number 3 and Todd's 3 keys to victory.
Number 3, we need to get behind that defense. They push a lot of players forward. If we can counter, get those lob passes over, we can set up a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The video that we're about to show, if it wasn't for some great goalkeeping, these would all be goals. But you can see how they have their men forward, how they push, and how they leave their back exposed.
Yeah, some highlights that we didn't show were in the Tulsa match. I saw where Tulsa got a couple goals on them that same way when I was going back through and watching how the Sounders 2 play. So, yeah, you definitely have a chance there to get behind their back line. Do you think that Gordon is our guy to do that? I mean, we were talking about who has speed for San Antonio FC. Do you think he's that guy to get in behind that back line, Jose?
Definitely, man. Like we've all said, Gordon has a talent to do it. It's just if he wants to come out Jamaica Gordon or SAFC Gordon, what Gordon's going to show up. The speed, he has the speed. He has the physicality to fight for balls when he wants to. Another one that's pretty fast up there would probably be King. We haven't seen.
King's out. King's out. Yellow
okay.
card accumulation.
Oh, okay.
Third suspension.
Presley. I guess Presley then would be the next fastest guy out there. If
Elizondo.
I know they've been putting him in the middle, right behind the striker, but if you put him out wide, maybe he does a little bit. I know Lance isn't that fast of a guy. He's more of a technical, guy.
Lance could be the one to set those passes forward, though.
Yeah.
That accuracy and,
You know what? We haven't seen that. I know we saw this, especially in year 1, Cochran running up and down the field. I don't know if it's been a system issue or it's been just him, but he hasn't been, going to the end line and putting crosses as much this year.
I think they defaulted more to King this year, letting King go up, and you kept Cochran back a little bit more this year than normal.
That's a great point.
History though too.
Mm-hmm.
If you go back, King, he's been a defender since he's been a pro, but college and high school, he was an attacker.
I'm not saying it was wrong. I think that's the.
He's replaced that. Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
It's gonna be a big loss, as a King. I think that's going to be one of our biggest losses this week.
I'm assuming they're going to put Seth back there because that's historically what they've done, unless they're going to roll with a 3-back, but.
3-back.
That'd be,
Again, 3-back, you're still with Hernandez out. You're looking at Cochran,
Sip,
and who?
Yeah, who? Because Felix is out.
Ryan Rosendo comes and rescues us.
Captain Ryan.
Capitan.
He rescues us, scores a goal, and celebrates.
Hey, maybe SAFC can bring the academy kids back in because, that's, never mind.
Hey, tell Coach Powell, somebody DM him on Twitter real quick because, he
academy kids.
watches the show. Yeah, find the academy kids. That's key number 4 to victory against Seattle. Get the
ETP kids.
ETP kids. Oh, well, those are the 3 keys to victory. I mean, final thoughts. You guys think we can do it? Let's start with you, Harry. One game at a time.
I think they win this game, yes. I guess my question is, does Rafa make an appearance in this homestand?
And the stretcher in this game?
In the homestand, the stretch.
Yes.
This game...
He will.
I think yes.
I think his leadership is
missing.
And if you're gonna try to do it, I wouldn't wait till the last game. I'd bring if he's fit, and I've heard that he is practicing. Now whether he's fit or not, that's a whole separate discussion. But to me, like I said, I think that would juice up the crowd. I think that would put that'd put a smile on the crowd, and I think it would give a bump for the team because they're gonna need a bump. The roller coaster this team's on, I don't know how they recover from this tailspin right now.
Do you see him more as being like a 75th minute sub or being in the starting 11 to try and create that
I
spark?
think you bring him on to start because you can't wait. It's this team, especially in the holes in the defense.
True. You got to get one early.
You can't wait because Seattle has the talent to score.
No, they don't.
They have the talent to score on us.
30 goals on the season, and they only have one David Estrada's their goal scorer. He's got 10 on 30 shots, which is great. He's got a 33% conversion rating, which Gordon has a 10% conversion rate. Let's be honest here. But after that, your next highest scorer is at 4, and then it drops off to like 2. They've only scored 30. They're not a. If they win, it's going to be a 1-0 win.
Yeah, well, Will here says to go ahead and put him in the starting 11 and sub him out for Gordon. I don't mind that. I kind of like that. I get what you're saying of throwing him in there in the starting 11, trying to get an early goal. We haven't really seen that, though, too much from San Antonio FC, I don't feel like, here in these last few matches where they've really pressed high, like they did in those 3 that they won, and just try and get one on the board quickly. It's kind of been a waiting game, it seems like.
Well, to me,
he wanted to get us a goal, though. You know what I mean? I know up until a few weeks ago, he was the leading goal scorer in San Antonio FC history. It only took 3 years for him to get there. I love Rafa. He's not a goal scorer anymore. He's relying on
not a goal scorer anymore. He's not.
So why would you put him in over the Presley or the Bryant? Someone that's been out there, that's fit, that's not 37.
It's the intangibles.
The intangible right now is you need a fucking goal.
Yeah, but you need to be able to get it to the forward. There's a reason why Murphy, Guzman are MIA is because there's nobody that can get it to him.
We've been saying it all year. So Rafa's been here this year. Now, mind you, maybe 4 or 5 games, but he's been here.
That's the point.
But we weren't doing it in the beginning. When he was playing was when we were hitting the panic button to begin with.
But Bryant, I love Bryant, but I don't think he's ready for that spot right now.
I think you got to have Presley out there. Like I say, I'd love to see Presley out there. But I mean, we'll just have to wait and see what Coach Powell does again for the starting 11.
11 midfielders and I don't care which they are. Put 11 midfielders and forwards on. Fuck the defense. Yeah.
They're not holding up very well anyways, especially without King. With some of the guys that we said that we were going to be missing without Mo. You're going to have to get on the board, I feel like, early and just start playing offensively.
Were you impressed with Mo?
No.
Depends on the match. I think the first game he played with us, I think it was the second one where he started to have some mistakes, but for the first match or 2 matches.
So he's been in 3, you were impressed by
one game. Yeah.
So there's a 66% disapproval rating.
That's true. I mean, that's fair.
Those are Trump numbers.
So, my son asked me, AJ asked me, he's like, Dad, where's Felix? Because Felix was USL Team 2 last year.
He's injured.
All defensive. He's hurt. I'm assuming McCarthy, is out with a concussion, and hope both of those, feel better.
Again.
So that tells you, hey, we're really weak in the back,
Yep.
And Ryan does a good job. To me, I'd rather put, was it Como in there, the young guy, and I know he made mistakes, but to me, I want to see the youth because I think the youth can bring that excitement, that hunger that this team needs.
Agreed. I want to see the same thing out there, especially for these last 3 matches. Put the youth out there. Those are probably going to be the majority of the guys I feel like that you're going to bring back for next season. We'll get into that as well, later on after the year. That'll be another talking point. But let's go into our final thoughts before this Seattle Sounders match. Todd, go ahead, man.
Saturday, it's not over. All you season ticket holders, get out there. If you're not a season ticket holder,
there's a free scarf.
That's a nice scarf. I'm buying one for Anna.
Yeah.
Is that this one?
It's all 3 of these are like scarf giveaways, I think, or 2 out of the 3 are. One's the breast cancer one, and then the other one was something else, right?
There's a shirt. There's the
for Hispanic Heritage Month. Yeah, that's right. And then there's a breast cancer scarf. I might be mistaken on that. But go ahead. I'm sorry, Todd.
Too, isn't it?
Dollar Beer Night? I saw somebody mention that. I haven't seen Has San Antonio FC said that? I think that was
No.
Will. I think
Will. I think the dollar beer night is for the last game for RGV. I think they had said something about micheladas coming back.
$5. Yeah, Will's saying dollar micheladas. I think it's $5 micheladas if memory serves me right.
Which will be sold out, I guess, before the start.
But let's see. Last time they had that great, exciting promotion of the $5 micheladas, they were out by halftime. So.
And if they're $1, they're gonna be out by 20 minutes.
What?
Failure of the public relations of San Antonio to make a promotion and then not have enough to satisfy the need. Again,
all right.
We talked about it last week.
Moving on to Harry now. Harry, your final thoughts.
Like Todd, it's not over. You know, we're on the sinking ship, but there's still a couple of lifelines out there. We need to support the team, and regardless, even if we are out, let's support the team because they have provided a lot of memories. Maybe not the best memories compared to last year, but all the players have busted their ass for us. And like I said, I do think that if you're a season ticket holder, show up to the game. Don't just sit at home or through that here, because even though this year may not work out for us, I think going forward, this team, I think can reach the goal, of winning the title. There's got to be some changes, both in player and to me leadership. But it starts with this game here. Let's not see a huge drop in attendance. I unfortunately expect to see a drop in attendance. But if you're a season ticket member, you've paid for it. Go to the game, support the team. Because that is important.
And if you can't make the game for some reason, guess what? There's that handy transfer option where you can transfer your ticket to people. Give the ticket away.
And Thomas St. George says, to go to the tailgates. I know Mission City has opened it up. I know 210 Crocketeers have opened it up with, I believe they offer free beer and, food depending on the week. And I do want to give a shout out to, was it 210 Alliance?
Food drive.
The food drive out to there. And then they also have a contest for the team, for that here. So if you do check 210 Alliance, because they do have, some cool gifts.
Are they doing the beer
there.
fest? Is that what you're referring to? Is that this game?
Beer fest, yes.
The beer fest is this game.
Fest, and then they're doing a food drive.
You bring so many cans in order to sign up. Yeah, exactly. We've shared the sign-up sheet for that. It's just their email. So look on our social media or their social media at 210 Alliance, and you'll find that form that you need to fill out and email to them for that. So definitely. What about you, Gordino? Final thoughts, buddy?
I already said it. We need to win this game, come out. If we go down, let's go down punching. It's $5 micheladas. Let's go down partying. It's Hispanic Heritage Night, $5 micheladas, post-game fireworks, extra time post-game party with $1 drinks. And they're going to have some baile folklorico performance after. So, let's make it a party, man. Might as well enjoy it, make it a party, get drunk, and see what happens.
Make sure you got somebody that can drive home, though.
Lyft.
Is that Lyft?
Uber. Oh, wait.
No, Lyft.
Lyft. Excuse me.
Come on, Scott.
Lyft.
The official spot.
Hey, they don't sponsor us. Yeah. Maybe we can holler at Uber and just get that competition going. But no, as always, guys, it's been fun. We'll see you out there on Saturday night. My final thoughts again. Place. But this is the San Antonio Soccer Roundtable. We out.